Bang on time, 7 p.m. GMT or 8 o'clock German time. Hello and a very warm welcome to episode number 3 of the Not So Late Night Dart Show, the best and only late night dart show in the world where you, the viewers, get to participate, you get to ask questions. We want to know your opinion in a couple of polls, and we are very happy that you joined us tonight while we are being joined by our two stars of the show tonight. They are entertaining, they are quick, and they are the best of mates. A very warm welcome to the African warrior, Devon Petersen, and Rockstar, Joe Cullen. Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. How are you keeping in these crazy times? Devon, you want to go first?
It's been good. I mean, it's been the back end of the season was quite busy. I mean, staying away all the time, and then at the end of the Worlds, now we had some holiday time. I mean, the first event was just announced in Milton Keynes. For the UK in March. Joe's playing in the Masters this week. So for me, it's been only a few days off and back to preparation. I mean, 2021 is gonna hopefully be a big year for myself, and I need to put all the work in. So it's just been work.
Joe, I mean, as Devon pointed out there, you must be in the preparations for the Masters. Training must be. Is it going well?
Yeah. Well, I had 2 weeks off after the Worlds just to get away from darts. It was pretty constant towards the end of the year, so I had a couple of weeks off, sort of refreshed, had some time with the family, and started practicing a couple of weeks ago. So I'm really putting the work in now. So hopefully it'll come out Friday.
Just a little hint from my side towards our viewers. Obviously, if you want to ask a couple of questions later on, there's this nice little function that you got in this chat where you can raise your virtual hand, and that will tell us that you want to ask a question. And later on, a couple of you will get the chance to talk to the African warrior and the Rockstar. So, guys, I mean, 2020, basically, I mean, looking at the world, a pretty rubbish year. But for the both of you, from a darting point of view, it was pretty nice. I mean, Devon, for you especially, the development that you made in 2020 was crazy, off the charts, really.
Yeah, it's just testament to the hard work I've put in all the years, and it all just clicked in. Like Joe will probably echo the statement or the sentiment that at some point it clicks in, and then it just kind of goes. I mean, Joe is always a phenomenal player, and I was with Joe when he was in the number 44 space, and just in a blink of an eye, he was top 16. So. I mean, there was a lot of inspiration from last year. Was kind of a year of kind of getting a platform where constant performances and scoring was the key for me. The finishing lacked a bit at the end, but I was happy with the way I got to, and being breaking into the top 32 is a dream come true. So yeah, hopefully continue to live the fantasy.
Look at that, a massive predator behind Joe Cullen there. Joe, you said a couple of days ago, I think, or a couple of weeks ago, that quite possibly the year 2020 was the best darts that you've played so far. How do you assess the year? Although it was quite weird and a bit different than the other years.
Yeah, I agree. I think Devon's form was pretty big for me as well, because obviously we travelled together and spend a lot of time together, and the way Devon's been playing all year, top of the 180 charts, top of quite a lot of charts, and it sort of give me the kick up the backside. It's he's really putting the work in, and maybe I was a tad lazy, but I think I've got Devon to thank for a lot of that, for giving me the push that I needed without being pushed, if that makes sense.
I mean, it's now around about 3 weeks since the World Darts Championship ended. I mean, how long does it take until the World Championship doesn't play on your mind anymore? You both went out in the fourth round. I mean, Joe, a bit.
No, it stops for me the 20th of December, and then that's it. I just turn the darts off.
I wasn't going to say that. I said your exit from the Worlds was maybe a bit crueler than Devon's was. I mean, I think everyone watching just remembers the game against MVG, which was crazy. I think you hit 19 180s. You threw everything at him. You were 3-1 up,
yeah,
and then I was going to get to that. I mean, how you looked on stage. I mean, I thought you looked absolutely crushed. Like, how long did it take you to sort of rekindle after that?
It was one of those. It was the last game, you know, if you look on social media, people say, "Oh, you've bottled it, you've done this, you've done that." And the thing is, I've bottled games before in the past, as of every single professional. You know, they might not admit it, but that was one of the games I didn't bottle it. I sort of thought to myself, I've been on this stage for 2 hours, throwing everything but the kitchen sink at him, and he's still there. And I was saying to myself, you know, don't blow it the last leg. And I set off without a treble and obviously hit the 180 there. And, you know, that's the class of him. You know, people say he's struggling and things like that, but he definitely showed the class there the last leg. And that's the way it left me, just left me deflated. And, you know, Devon's been there on stage where you just can't wait to get off. But, you know, you smile and you do the nice, you shake people's hands and then walk off and shed a little tear maybe.
Before I ask Devon the next question, it was time for our first poll of the evening for our viewers. I think a lot of people would have argued that match was maybe the match of the tournament. So I'm going to ask our viewers here: what was it for you? Joe Cullen versus MVG at the World Darts Championship 2021, best match of that event. We will see what our viewers have to say before I ask Devon, whose camera just turned off, but I think we can still hear him. Oh, there he is. So
yeah, no.
Yeah,
it clicked on poll in progress, so it just
mine did. Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, sorry about that. Devon, you just smiled there when Joe said before the last leg he thought, "Don't blow it." Is that maybe just the wrong thought to have? Don't blow it.
Yeah, it's testament to, like, not even just in our sport, like every other sport. The first thought that comes to your mind is always it's a positive, negative, where you use the negative words like "don't blow it" or puts a negative, but you want the positive outcome. And those things normally have the opposite effect that you want. So, like he said, I mean, we've been in situations like that before. And Joe's one of the top players that, like, the last set deciders or last leg deciders, he's come through quite strong. So in that game, it's just tough though that he couldn't get the treble. And I think that he knew as well that MVG was still playing well, even though he was struggling, and Joe was playing phenomenal. MVG never gave him any space to breathe, but Joe created so much space. I mean, there was points where he could have stolen a leg or just, if he executed a finish better than he did. And I'm not saying that he didn't execute any finishes, but I'm saying there's those match-winning moments in a game that maybe sometimes it just slipped him, like one leg could have maybe just changed the momentum slightly or so on. But I mean, the game itself, it was one of the best games that I've watched, barring probably Phil Taylor, Adrian Lewis Grand Slam. I think that game, and because it was Joe Cullen as well, and a good friend of mine, I was happy to see that he was performing. He was the one there. We were screaming in the hotel. When he missed the bull finish, I think, to win the game as well. That was a massive moment. I felt nervous for him. My knees went. But yeah, I think it's it shows you also the level and the skill. Because I mean, before the game, Michael van Gerwen was still touted to win the world champs as a favorite. Joe came in there and gave him a massive scare, and I think that kind of took out his team. And then Chizzy just finished MVG off in the next round, which obviously I think if MVG blew Joe away, it would have given him a lot more confidence. But because he knew that he played against Joe, and Joe just kind of nullified a lot of his attack. Yeah, basically, yeah. The only thing you did was you gathered all the dust together. Chizzy just came to come hoover up there at the back end. But yeah, it was a fantastic game, and to see Joe throw 19 180s. I mean, I know that he's not probably the biggest, but he's in 180 hitters. 180 hitting is effective. Like crucial points in the game, he'll throw it, and to see him dominate like that in a game was fantastic.
I mean, Joe, you mentioned there, normally your World Championship ends somewhat around the 20th of December. So how important was it for you because Eli Pelli wasn't the kindest place to you in the last couple of years. So how important was it to actually play really, really good darts up there and progress further to just see, okay, I can play good darts at this place?
Yeah, I think the first round draw helped me, to be honest. No disrespect to Wayne, but Wayne's not the player he once was, but in previous years, you know, I've had some shocking draws as well. And at Nico Kerr's last year, you know, don't get me wrong, I fancied that, and he threw amazing against me. You know, I seem to always get that performance against me, especially there. So I think it was definitely a blessing in disguise that I played Wayne there, because, like I say, he's not the player he once was. Wayne used to be, you know, top 16 every single tournament. So I think that helped me a little bit. And then maybe it helped me a bit when I played Johnny, because he was he's normally sort of quiet when you play him, and he was giving it some, and I was just thinking, well, that's not like Johnny at all. You know, you try not to be too nice because he's your friend, but then you're still thinking, oh well, it's my friend, and him giving it some probably helped me more than it did him, because I thought, right, well, let's have it now, you know, let's absolutely go for it. But yeah, and then obviously the game against Michael was rubbish.
Rubbish. Well, not really rubbish.
For me, it was.
At least when we can believe our viewers, because they have just told us that this for them was certainly the best match of the World Championship. 79% of our viewers say that Joe, you had the best match at the World Championship against MVG. So far, or so much from our first poll here. Devon, I mean, you went out in the fourth round against Gary Anderson 4-0, which looked like the scoreline looks comfortable, but it was a weird game, really. You weren't far behind, but for some reason you could never really get to him.
Yeah, I think a lot of things happened behind the scenes, like where before a game I would not speak to my opponent. I wouldn't, but with Gary it was just something slightly different, and it kind of nullified my attack and my aggression. And I think that going up against him, it was more like, because before the game it was laughs and kind of just chit chat. Yeah, I think it kind of affected me slightly, and I learned the hard way by losing in that fashion, because I never got going up and until the second set. And when I was 2-0 ahead, I just couldn't seem to finish him off, and I just couldn't find my feet. But look, I think that the world champs and crashing out in the last 16 wasn't the best thing. I wanted to make the quarterfinals, semifinals, or go on to win it. But losing in the last 16, if you told me the year before, Devon, you're going to lose in the last 16 in the following year, I'd have snapped your arm off for it, because to lose in the last 16 in the world champs is a big thing. And I think that now, even Joe himself, I mean, he's had so many hard times at the Ali Pali, and getting to the last 16 is big, because that monkey's off his shoulder. So for me as well, like the year before, I never played. I played against Luke Humphries, and I lost in the first round. So the next year, last 16, was fantastic. And now I look forward to this 2021, knowing that the season before was great, and just to kind of build on it.
You must take some positives out of that though, Dev. With I don't think, personally, obviously we spend a lot of time together. I don't think he played anywhere near like he can at the World, and still made the last 16. So you must take some positives from that as well.
Yeah, that's true. And obviously looking at performances previous years, now, like you said, with topping the charts in the 180s, finding my first start, making sure that I'm executing the finish correctly. Back end, I felt like my fitness and fatigue wasn't at a high standard, and I wasn't fully focused for the Worlds, even though I wanted it to be. It just in the tank, I just didn't have a lot. It's probably the first time I've ever played that many match darts in the year, playing in all of the majors back end. So yeah, it's a lot of learning curves and a lot of positives, like Joe saying, to take from the performance. But I think that in the last 16, I came home and I felt like I didn't feel like before, like when I got to the last 16, I was celebrating like I got to the last 16. That's fantastic. I was more disappointed. So it's obviously testament to the year that I had, and obviously wanting more. So yeah, I think that 2020 kind of set up 2021 for me, and hopefully I can just carry on and perform, or even better the performance that I did in 2020.
I think Joe made a fantastic point there. I think when you look at what you played in 2020, the averages, they're crazy at times, absolutely crazy. And then the Worlds, you were like 93, 94. So obviously not your A game really. But that development that we spoke about in 2020, you mentioned the part that Wayne Mardle took in there, and that Phil Taylor gave you some great advice. I think darts fans around the world are dying to know what kind of advice do they give you, and we need that as well, Devon. We do.
I think with Wayne, there's always technique. So he knows my throw inside out. So knowing when I'm over pitching or with my release is incorrect, or the timing, and there's a whole host of elements. Like darts is not just pick up and throw. There's a whole host of scientific elements that go into it. Players that are naturally talented, like Joe Cullen, he can pick up a dart and throw it in any way that he wants, and it will land. For me, it's different. I need to work hard all the time. So yeah, I think the advice is not something that I can actually tell you. It's literally something that you'll send me a text and say, look at this, look at these points, and then I will make the adaptation to it, basically. And Phil Taylor, on the other hand, I mean, that's just a great potentially a great person to have on your phone list, because the information that he gave me through the year, just invaluable. Just how he went through his situations in the game and what he could see and how I should improve and things I should take note of and things. And he told me before the game as well, just don't talk to anybody in the world, don't speak to anybody because they're going to distract you. And I fell in that trap. And yeah, we kind of had a, not an argument, but he did tell me off a bit afterwards, just to say, like, I told you that was going to happen. So yeah, there's a whole host of people like Colin Lloyd as well. I mean, he gave me the aggression side, where he's kind of giving me the info, just letting me know what's happening, going through his mind when he was winning titles and performing, and how he stayed and maintained his focus. So yeah, there's conversations that I had that you can't really like pinpoint. That is the most important information. But I think just having those guys on my list and having Joe as an inspiration is fantastic.
Don't start punching dartboards though when you talk to Colin Lloyd. I
mean, no, I don't want to. I work too hard for my money to be paying it back to the DRA.
I mean, Joe, obviously, as a really good mate of Devon's, I think everyone knew that he had great darts in him. So, but did it surprise you how quickly all of a sudden that development came about in 2020?
No, because it's been a long process for Dev. He's been working at it hard for 10 years plus, and it just. I used to ask the same question to Wes Newton. Used to travel a lot with Wes and say, what is it that he takes you to that next step, and you can't. Wes couldn't tell me what it is, and then Devon asked when I took it. Then Devon asked me, what is it, and you can't tell it, and then you just take it like Devon has this year, and he's going to rocket up the rankings next year. Which is testament to the hard work that he puts in, because he's one of the hardest workers, out of anyone on the tour.
I mean, Devon, that development that culminated sort of in September 27th, 2020 in Hildesheim at the German Darts Championship. I'm sure that's a date that you will remember for a long time to come, when you won your first PDC title. You picked up the European Tour title 2 of 2020. That feeling, I mean, it was. I mean, I was there, and it was amazing, because everyone was happy for you. I mean, you beat Johnny Clayton in the final, and I think Johnny was happy for you. So it was.
It was a weird one though. Like before that, I think the week before that, when we played the I think it was the autumn series, and I lost to Gerwyn Price after leading him in the final, and knowing that I could beat him in that. I felt disappointed in that game, but I think it prepared me for the week. The next week, because we only had 4 Europeans, and I knew that I needed to perform, because I only qualified for 2, so I needed to perform and make sure that I'm in the Euro finals. I didn't yet think that I was going to win it, because all I was just thinking was make sure that you get to Sunday on both days, then you in. Lo and behold, obviously the way in which I played in and getting drawn against Jeffrey de Zwaan, seeing Gerwyn Price the next round, second round, and then you're seeing Rob Cross, and you look at the line of players that I competed against. I had to take a step back and look and go like, that was tough, because to come through all of those players, every one of them were in form, except Jeffrey, because he came from a shoulder injury. But to perform like that, it gave me. I only realized afterwards the impact that it would have, because after that, the publicity in South Africa and just globally was big, because everybody was hoping that I win a title, and now I've won it, and that just kicked me on and spurred me on to kind of greater heights for the coming season.
I mean, Joe, your European tour, it was a short European tour, but tonight we've got here 50% of all European Tour titles of 2020. So
maybe.
So two out of 4. I mean, you won the International Darts Open in Riesa, and you beat Michael there in the final 8-5. So, and that was
easily. You did it. You had to say
honestly,
easily as
well. It was
honestly,
lucky to get 5, really, wasn't it?
You say easily, but really, you were in absolute control in that final. I had the feeling watching it.
Yeah, it was a bit similar to Devon, and the venue as well. Riesa is the worst European in the history of the world to get to travel-wise. So you need to make it worthwhile. You go there. Like Devon said there, the first European I won, I knew I was going to win it. This one, I just played each game, and then I thought, well, actually, you can win this. And I think that's the thing. If you tense up against Michael, I think he feels that and he senses that, and he just tears you to bits. And if you can relax against him and put him under pressure, do you know what I mean? It gives you those little chances, but you still got to take them. But yeah, it was nice after Devon won his as well. And like I say, 50% isn't too bad, is it?
Well, thank God you made that remark in the end. I mean, travel-wise, Riesa is the worst one in European tour. Otherwise, the people in Riesa would have been very, very happy to welcome their defending champion back next year, I'm sure. I mean, I'm gonna show you the winners photo of the event in Riesa. Let's have a look here, and I wonder whether you see something. It's a rather peculiar way to hold up a trophy. Do you remember that, Joe? Do you remember what happened?
Yeah. I still don't have the trophy, to be honest.
You still have it? Well, this is
no, I don't have it.
You don't have it? Yeah, we kept it. But what I've got here for you, and it's going to be on its way to you very soon, is the, look at that.
Is that the fixed one?
That's the fixed one. That's the one that you're going to get. You see, it's going to be...
My one broke as well.
Oh, did it? Did you?
Yeah.
I think someone's going to win his second European Tour title very soon there, Devon, eh?
I'm hoping so. If it means that I get another trophy.
I had nightmares about dropping the trophy in that situation when I'm holding it up here. That wouldn't have been good.
Yeah, well, on that picture, before they went up, they said, look, it got broken in transit, so could you sort of hold it in? So I was sort of holding it in so it didn't fall out. But yeah,
it looks pretty.
Was that nice, October? So I've only had to wait 4 months for the new one. But
yeah, I remember.
The money went in on time. That's all that matters.
I remember. I told you on stage, be careful when you lift it up. Don't like, because we didn't want people to see that it broke. But anyway, now a couple of months later, let's be honest about it. But as we're gonna send something in the post to Joe, we thought we cannot have this show without assuring Devon that we're going to send him something. And I think you remember, Devon, because Werner talked.
You're going to give me the pig.
No, because Werner talked to you about it a couple of times. This is actually a piece of South African darts history. And you see
Charles Losper shirt, yeah.
The Charles Losper shirt that he wore at the World Darts Championship. He was there in 2008 and 2009. Yeah. He played there. And this ended up at the PDC Europe headquarters, and we saw it and we thought, this has got to go back to Charles. This is a piece of South African darts history. So we arranged that we're going to send it back to you, and you will give it back to Charles. There, will you, folks?
Yeah, no problem at all. I thought you were going to send me something, like that little pig, that pig that you have on that. With a German channel, I'd really like one of that in the future.
The Sport One pig, you mean?
Yeah. I like that. That's really creative and really cool.
Yeah, we're gonna. We'll definitely tell them that you want one. Which one do you want? Because there are a couple. Like there's the Peter Wright one with the.
No, I won't have a Peter Wright one. No.
You don't want to have a Peter Wright one. Look at this. Someone just handed me this. Hey.
That is good. That is good.
So this
whichever one except the Peter Wright one. I don't want the Peter Wright one.
You don't want the Peter Wright one. So we could send this one to you with the Charles Losper shirt. That would be something.
Fantastic.
We have a deal indeed. And I hope that we're going to have a deal with our viewers here, because I think it's about that time that we have our first 2 questions from our viewers. And I see that there are a couple of hands up. There is.
Put your hands up.
Put your hands up. There is Stefan, and we're gonna get Stefan into the mix with us here so he can ask either Joe or Devon a question.
Stefan Wassner.
Stefan, that's the way to pronounce it.
Yeah.
Stefan, I think now. Stefan, now we can hear you. Hi there, Stefan. Where are you joining us from tonight?
Hello, I'm from Bielefeld.
Bielefeld, look at that.
It's in the middle from Germany.
Yeah.
Herzlich willkommen, Stefan.
Oh, look at that! Someone polished his German there. So Stefan, tell us.
It's the only thing I hear every time. When herzlich willkommen, it's Devon Petersen.
Hello.
You see, but that's how we learn, by repetition.
Yes,
you know, we
of
repeat
course,
it
of course,
until
of
you
course.
know it, Mr. Petersen. Until you know it.
It's great. It's great.
So Stefan, you've got a question for one of our two pros
Okay,
here.
can I ask in German?
Yes, you can ask.
Have you translated? Okay.
I will translate.
Ich würde gerne wissen, wie es ist, in Deutschland zu spielen, weil die deutschen Fans sind ja sehr, sehr dartverrückt. Aber man hört auch immer gerade so, zum Beispiel von Rob Cross, der sich auch immer sehr manchmal über die deutschen Fans beschwert, weil die sehr viel buhen, gerade wenn deutsche Spieler gegen in Deutschland spielen. Ob die das auch so empfinden, in Deutschland zu spielen gegen deutsche Spieler, wenn die deutschen Fans die Deutschen unterstützen. Oder ob denen das so ziemlich egal ist und die sagen, okay, das gehört nun mal dazu, dass die Local Guys supported werden.
So Joe, you got it. So can you give us an
About
answer
Rob
there?
Cross and German players.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
German crowd as well, and Deutsch.
Yeah, you see. No, so Stefan wants to know what it's like for you guys to play in Germany, as the people in Germany are really darts nuts, you know. And he also mentioned that a couple of players, you know, complained in the past that it's difficult to play in Germany when you're playing a German, because then you know you get a bit of whistling and a bit of booing. And he wants to know your take on things.
I'll go first because Joe has a story. I know he's got.
I don't have
German fans are great, though. I mean, that's since the Europeans came over, and we used to always look forward to going and traveling to the Euro Tour, because you get to sample a different kind of crowd, a crowd that has no control but loves darts so much, and I think that the respect that we get on the stage, especially when there's no German fans, there's loads of respect and celebrations. When there is German fans, it's tough because obviously they want to help their guy go through, and it's going to be the same everywhere else. I mean, if a German plays in the UK and playing against Joe, then they're going to be on Joe's side. So I think that a lot of players complain because sometimes it does put them off. But look, I mean, that's part of the game, and they pay their tickets, so they get to say and do what they want.
Oh, Joe, we're curious about your story.
I don't know what he's talking about. So I actually
It's a
prefer
little
Germany.
wall.
I actually prefer playing in Germany than I do England. I think, like Devon says, they're crazy, but they're still knowledgeable to an extent, you know. And like Devon says, unless you're playing a German player, you don't really notice anything apart from noise, which is why I love playing there. But I think the story Devon's referring to, when I played Martin Schindler and Sindelfinger, and there was on me from dart one, and I didn't do anything wrong, so I thought, well, I'll give him a little bit back, and then you're just praying to yourself you don't lose the game and look stupid. But, I used it to my advantage that time. I couldn't wait to give it to the fans at the end. But the day after, you know, they'd forgotten. I think I played Kyle Anderson, and there was respectful as they normally are. So I think they see it both ways, and they see it as the pantomime villain, so to speak.
Kyle Anderson. This is not a German name. We're not going to cheer for him. So Stefan, I hope that was, I think, two great answers for you there. Thank you very much for stepping forward and asking the questions.
Okay, bye, and we hope to see you soon in Germany on stage.
Will do.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Stefan.
Thanks a lot. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you very much, Stefan. Enjoy the rest of the show. And
I think for the one thing, like I do a lot of exhibitions, so does Joe in the UK, and I think the one thing that I feel as though I need to explore more is exhibitions in Germany, like that just because I think I've done a few in Germany, and it was fantastic. It was similar to a European. Like, I've not seen that many people at exhibition. I mean, I think it was with it could have been with Werner and Modus. I think it was.
I think we were in Kiel together, if I remember correctly.
Kiel, yes,
yeah.
Kiel, yeah. And that was fantastic. I mean, that's the first time I've experienced an exhibition that level, like that standard, and it was fantastic. It made me feel like I need to explore the German continent, the German country a bit more through exhibitions.
Yeah, I did one similar with Werner and Modus, and on the Friday night, because I was a season didn't play till Saturday, we had, I think we took 10 times more fans in for the exhibition on the Friday than the actual European event that was there on the weekend. I think it was in Munich. It was absolute crazy. Me and the German fans absolutely love Mensah and Max, and they was both there. So it was absolute crazy night, like Devon says.
Devon, I remember the one in Kiel. That's the one where you made me dance at the VIP reception. You remember that? Where you put me on the spot, right?
You did well though. I didn't.
No,
know
I
you did
didn't.
like that.
No, I didn't. Like music moves me, but it moves me ugly. So it's like
I'm gonna keep that.
I remember that one. Yeah. I can relate that.
You see. So I think we're going to go for another question from our viewers, and as there does not seem to be a lady, I would have gone for a lady, but we're going to go for Lewis instead. Lewis, not Adrian Lewis though. Lewis is the first name.
Go back.
Second.
Hello.
There we go. Hello, Lewis. Lewis, where are you joining us from tonight?
I'm from Mannheim. I think Joe should know that because he
won Mannheim, yeah. Won 2019.
Yeah. So, Lewis, what's your question to our pros?
Kann ich es auf Deutsch sagen?
Ja, na klar, kein Thema.
Ich würde gerne Devon fragen, ob in Südafrika eigentlich das Dart bekannt ist. Also wird er da auch auf der Straße durchaus mal erkannt, wenn er irgendwie durch Kapstadt oder so läuft? Oder ist es eigentlich eher dann nicht so bekannt?
Lewis wants to know, Devon, how popular is darts actually in South Africa? And can you walk through Cape Town without being recognized, or do people recognize you on stage?
I think now, like the last time I've been in Cape Town was 2019, and obviously after that I've won the German title, and the publicity was massive in South Africa for that event itself. I was like on TV for that entire week, every news kind of broadcast and so on and so forth. So I think beforehand it was popular to an extent to dart playing people, but now since that it's just kind of exploded in a sense, and the following is not just is dart like normal people, like it's celebrities now that are following the dart, like they were following Joe Cullen when he played against Michael Vanko, and you had Madison following him, and a lot of celebrities kind of quoting how crazy the game was. So I mean, performances do attract different crowds, and I think that now South Africa is more open to the fact that darts is actually a massive game, and they have a champion in me, so I'm the torchbearer. So yeah, I think the popularity is growing at a rapid rate, and hopefully soon enough we'll have a World Series which will make it even bigger. So yeah, I think my performances hinge or kind of help the sports popularity in South Africa and Cape Town.
So darts definitely on its way up in South Africa. Lewis, thank you so much for your question. Thanks a lot for joining us tonight, and enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Cheers, Louis.
Lewis.
Yes,
So,
Lewis.
that were the first couple of viewer questions. We're going to have a couple more later on, but what we need to talk about now, or I feel at least, I mean, we said a couple of times, you two, Joe and Devon, you two really get along. Like you're really good mates. And I wanted to ask, do you remember where you like first met, where that started, and did you kick it off like straight away, or did you have to get used to each other? What was it like?
Yeah, I remember when we first met. We at the time, Tommy Cox's son used to be my manager. And Tommy Cox saw Devon play at the Worlds. Was it 2009, Devon, I think it was?
10.
Or 2010. And Tommy recommended to his son to sponsor Devon. So we went to Q School where Devon was playing, and my manager said, look, if you don't like him, you're going to be rooming with him. So say, you've got to put up with him. And the first time we met, we just hit it off straight away. So yeah, he come stay by my house as well, and we just got along straight away, didn't we?
Yeah, it's actually before that, because I think the night that Joe Cullen played against I think it was Terry Jenkins, I came on that night when you still had the Dennis Priestley shirt, but the tighter one with the smaller stripes. Yeah. And it was my first time at the Worlds, and I got there because I got there a day before, obviously, to play. And Joe just passed, and we kind of nodded, and little did we know that was the first interaction, and yeah, which was going to turn into kind of this long-lasting relationship, or not even friendship, more like brotherhood in a sense. Yeah, and the funny thing is since like that first time that we obviously met at Q School, then I went straight away to his area, stayed close to him. So I used to walk to his house and chill and communicate. And then the first tournament we played was Germany. Was my first Players Championship.
Oh, it was in Bielefeld.
Oh yeah,
I remember. Yeah,
I remember it was a massive. That time they used to play it where the Players Championships was almost like the UK Open, where they would have one big stage and like lots of other boards, and you'd have people. So it was crazy. But that very night, our manager made a mistake with the booking, and he booked not a two in the room, but a double bed. So yeah, me and Joe got very close that weekend, and I think that yeah, we kind of hit it off, and still been sharing up until today.
That sounds very intimate there, guys. Very very intimate indeed. So, Joe, we asked our followers on Instagram to send in a couple of questions, and we had a question for Joe that I found quite funny. That someone asked, Joe, what is it like to go to a club with Devon and to feel rather stiff next to him on the dance floor, like in comparison? Like...
Joe's a good dancer, though. He's not. He started off.
He teach me a few things. We first ever time we went out was local to me in Huddersfield, and I think we'd only known each other a week or two. And Devon said, "Can you dance?" Obviously, I'd had a few. I said, "Of course I can dance." Anyway, I went and danced, and Devon looked at me like a disappointed mother.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, he just said, "Hold my drink. I'll show you how to do it." But then he went and started, and he's going, come on, Joe. I'm thinking, I'm not going to dance at the time.
It's like playing darts against Phil Taylor, isn't it? Like, you've got no chance. No,
I think it's obviously different now. But back then, Joe was obviously not like, he wasn't a dancer kind of type of guy. He had a bit of moves, and then I just showed him a few tricks to kind of loosen up, and now he's one of the best now. So once we go out, it's dance all the time, and that's the one thing that we miss, though. I mean, going on Euro tours, and you get to mingle with the crowd and kind of, and even at exhibitions afterwards, it's that, and then you get to loosen up and show a bit of your personality, and yeah, Joe definitely shows it through his moves.
Yeah, he's improved my rhythm slightly.
So there is hope for all of us, actually. There is hope.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, the music moves your body ugly. I mean, you can just, no, you can get there. You can get there.
You see. Now, I was actually thinking, because we like to do polls here, and so I've got another one for our viewers, and it's about what they think. Who is the best dancer in the PDC, on the PDC circuit? And there are, like, I'm going to start the poll now, and there are a couple of surprising options. I mean, you get Devon,
Scott Gibbling, Kirk Shepherd.
You get Devon, you get Dimitri.
Kirk Shepherd's your only challenge there, Devon.
Now, because people might not know what we're talking about, Scott Gibbling and Kirk Shepherd wise. So let's have a look at Scott Gibbling at the World Darts Championship with the PDC Europe Dance Girls. And let's give this a view here, because I've been looking at this about 25 times today, and it makes me incredibly happy.
I just wanna let it go for the night. That would be the best therapy for me.
That's dope.
The only problem with that video is that it doesn't last long enough. Like, I want it to go on.
Scott moved out of the picture, and then it's like, yeah, that's it. It's
nothing more to see there, right? It's like,
yeah. So except the walk-on girls, but yeah,
and the Kirk Shepherd one, and I've got the feeling like this. I'm looking at the results here right now, and I've still got this poll going. It might just change now, because people can still change their mind. I think.
This is the best.
This just makes me smile just thinking about it. I can see it in my head.
Let's give this one a view here.
Shepherd. A reminder, straight after this match, we will have that live draw for you up on the main stage. So stay with us, but this could be fun. Hopefully the darts match is just as entertaining as the walk-on. And the commentary will be as well, no doubt. Kirk Shepherd getting involved. Chris Mason and John Rawling to commentate on the dance scene. No wasting on darts anyway.
Well, we need to contribute to this, Chris. You're going to have to do the draw shot. They'll expect stellar moves.
Not from me, JR.
Hey, fair play. Kirk getting into the spirit of.
Oh dearie me! Oh dearie me! Look at that. Surprise!
I think it's the kick and the little thing with their hands that just moves his knees. That is next level.
It's the office move. It's the office move. You know, it's like you cannot beat that.
He loves that. Yeah, because they always quote in the office, and I don't know what they're saying. So, yeah, I think that if I were a viewer, I would choose that like 100%. Mine is more choreographed. His is more natural. You can just see he doesn't do that often.
I mean, surprisingly, things didn't change much in our poll here. Let's have a look. So we've got Dimitri Vandenberg, who's the winner, with 45%, followed by Devon with 26. That's an insult to Devon there. And Kirk Shepherd only 7%, and Scott Gibling, my personal favorite, only 4%. It's like,
I think people like they see Dimitri do that dance right on stage, and that's his only move. Like that's his number one. That's his go-to. We've had at the Unicorn, at our old sponsor, we had a walk-on competition, 3 dances.
Dance off, yeah,
dance off, and Dimitri did one and he came second in his only one, and then I clean sweeped him. But it's not about. I think it's more about Kirk Shepherd, and that's my choice.
Well, definitely. I was so happy watching that, honestly. So we were talking about your friendship, guys, and I've been thinking, I mean, football-wise, last couple of weeks must have put a bit of a strain on that friendship. I mean, Joe Cullen.
This could have been a very different conversation here.
Joe Cullen, following the Red Devils of Manchester United, and Devon Petersen, Liverpool supporter. I mean, what is it like between you two when Man United play Liverpool?
We don't. I think I'll go. Like for the last season or 2 seasons, it's not been. There's not because Man United haven't been playing well, and I think myself and Joe kind of the time when they were dominating. Joe used to give it to me all the time, quite easily though, like shut me up before I even speak about football because Man United was dominating. But for the last 2 years, I mean, he's not said a lot, and I don't think he's saying a lot now because he's not saying a lot now because Man United's like the elephant. I mean, that climbs up a tree. Nobody know how it got there, but you know it's gonna fall down. So
hello,
the play well. And,
they are though.
If you back the manager, look at the way Chelsea have gone about that with Lampard. United have backed Solskjaer through the bad times as well, and they're reaping the rewards as it stands at the minute. But like I said, I'm a diehard United fan. I don't expect us to win the league, so I think come maybe sort of 5, 6, 7 games left, and we're still up there, then you start to maybe think that you can. But Liverpool have been unreal for 2 years. It absolutely kills me to say it, but they've been unreal, and it wasn't going to last forever, was it? And I know Devon will probably say, "Oh, we've not got Van Dijk and we've not got this," but they were still up until I think a month ago. They were still top of the league. So it's only recently they slipped up, but it's not going to last.
I think it's just surprisingly that we stayed up with obviously noting the injuries, but the key players that actually won us the league last year was Van Dijk and the confidence that we had in our defense. Matip was always there, and Gomez and Joe then obviously became injured, and then there was like the kind of the change when Van Dijk got injured, and then we had all that flurry of injuries in the defense that kind of unsettled us, I think, and I mean Man United won like a few days ago, and that was based on a counter attack. That if you look at the defense, I mean Reece Williams at that point he's a young, obviously playing with not a lot of experience. So I think that Liverpool this year will feel as though just making Champions League is would be a great opportunity. And if we're still in the league, in the fight for the league in the last 7 games, it's going to make it quite interesting. But at this point in time, I think we need some backup in the defense. And
I disagree. Your defense hasn't been too bad. It's your front three. The front three have been unreal for 2 years. They're not firing. The defense, look at how many clean sheets you've made.
Fabinho playing in defense loses us the opportunity to have that bombing on the side. So
I think Fabinho will be your first choice centre back next year with Van Dijk. I think he's done really well.
Yeah, I think so, but then he'll have to purchase more players to kind of cover up, because Milner is obviously getting old, and you got Jordan Henderson as well. So him when Trent's going up or Robertson's going up, he slots in there, but he's not there because of the injury as well. And then you have Fabinho obviously covering that role as well. But I think that this year is just going to be a mix and match kind of result because of the COVID as well. Like players are playing, and the season last year ended, and then they rapidly started again, probably not even 6-7 weeks after that. So it's tough times, and Man United are reaping the reward playing ugly football.
Was it a little jab there towards the end that showed us how serious that rivalry Man United and Liverpool is. I mean, I looked up the fact that the last player who was transferred between Man United and Liverpool. Well, do you know which year that happened? The last direct transfer between Liverpool and Man United.
It's something like 1936.
No, a bit later than that. A bit later.
Direct,
yeah, direct.
I'm going to say, I know that there's two that's played for both teams.
I mean, there's
Vincent Owen.
The way I looked at it, it was in 1964. A chap called Phil Chisnell. He was transferred from Liverpool to from Man United to Liverpool, and obviously 1964. That's a long time ago. So it's difficult to find photos of that time. But we found a photo of Phil Chisnell playing for Liverpool. There we go. That is.
Captain as well.
Go on, Chizzy boy.
So unraveling all my Photoshop skills there, like.
I mean, you should send that for his birthday. That would be.
Yeah, he's a Liverpool fan as well. Yeah,
he's a Liverpool fan as well. Yeah.
I mean, and so that Joe doesn't feel disadvantaged. And the guy, he was transferred from Man United to Liverpool. So before that, he must have worn something like this. So now Joe can feel all right as well.
That picture though that you chose was just the best.
That's what it is. It's a really good one. Like, yeah, we're going to send this to him. We're definitely going to send this to him. So, but before we do that, it's time to get a little bit interactive again. And will we have darts questions from our viewers? Will we have football questions? We will see. There is someone, Vicky Carter, and that could actually be a woman joining us here after we had two chaps in the first round.
Oh, it's a drum roll. It's a drum roll.
Not the most German name either.
No, that's true. It might actually be an English-speaking person.
Could be Victoria Carter or Victor.
Yeah.
Hi.
That doesn't sound like Victor. Hi there, Vicky. Where are you joining us from tonight?
England, Leeds, up north.
Leeds. Here we go.
Yeah.
There's someone here.
Around the corner.
Someone here supports Leeds United. Eh?
Yeah, to be fair, I'm actually watching the game right now in the background.
Oh, what's the score? Because I can't watch.
Leeds are winning 2-1, but I'm a bit behind, so don't tell me if there's any goals going on.
No, I can't watch anyway. I've got to do this. So I can't watch Leeds.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So, Vicky, what is your question to Devon or Joe?
Who do you guys think should get the final spot for the Premier League? And Joe, do you reckon you'll take it if you win the Masters this weekend?
100. I can answer that. I'll answer that because it will just sound bad coming from him. I think that there's a few spots available, but I think whoever gets deepest in this tournament, like if Joe wins it, I think he's a shoo-in. He's been playing phenomenally well for the back end of the season. I mean, since the kickoff. And the one thing that people don't actually look at is Joe was in trouble on the order of merit where he dropped out of the top 16 because he couldn't make it. And he actually replenished that by great performances, and he got back into the top 16, which is a phenomenal feat. And I think that not giving him the opportunity, but I think that there's a tight tussle with Chizzy playing well again, James Wade, himself, Stephen Bunting having a good run, Del Gurney having a good run. But those are good runs in the world. I think if you're looking at phenomenal players, there's only two that stand out, and it's James Wade and Joe Cullen. So it's a toss-up between the two of them, and it's a pity that they didn't actually meet each other in the next round, because that would have been a great kind of shootout.
Yeah, I think based on this year, I think James Wade probably edges it, but I don't think Sky Sports want to pick him, to be honest. I think they would have picked him straight in there. So yeah, I think if I win it this weekend, then if I'm not in, then I'm going to pack in.
You won't. But it would be.
No.
It wouldn't. I think that the type of player Joe is, and his scoring potential that he's obviously evolved to, and also his face as well. It looks good on posters. So I think that he'd probably be a number one pick if I were to pick out the top 5.
All Devon has done in these interviews is just plug me in. We've not even spoke beforehand. He's just plugging me just off
But
his
it's
own
the
back.
truth, though. If you look at the players that's currently in the top of the world and selected, it's all winners. It's all players that are good to watch and entertaining. The Premier League is about players that have the ability to compete at the highest level. Joe's definitely one of those players, and he ticks all the other boxes. He's entertaining to watch. He's all of those things. So I think if you're looking at the Premier League player, a lot of people focus on the world champs and make the world champs like, if you do well in the world champs, you'll be in the Premier League. Only if you get to the final and the semi-final will you be in the Premier League. It doesn't mean that like Dirk's not going to have an opportunity, and he had a phenomenal year on the stage. You look at the likes of Rob Cross. Rob Cross never had a great year this year, but because he's top 4. So that means he maintained it over the season. He's in the Premier League. So if you look at Premier League selection, players that stand out that have been performing for the last six to 8 months, if you must call it that, it's definitely James Wade and Joe Cullen.
Who do you think, Vicky?
You, of course. Is there any other answer?
What about if it's not me?
I'm not a massive fan of Wade, but yeah, probably him really. But
I think Joe made a great point as if they wanted him there, they would have picked him straight away. I mean, obviously a player that we're not speaking about is Michael Smith. Michael Smith has been in the Premier League a few seasons, and he got to the final as well. So I think that kind of element, the Masters has now become a knockout for the last spot, and I think the PDC has a touch of genius now with the Masters, because the Masters used to be like a tournament for the top 16 players, and people were watching it but not as interested in it because it's just a tournament for top 16 players. We just had the world champs, but now because that element of the last spot in the Premier League, it makes it so much entertaining. I can't wait to watch it, and hopefully Joe wins.
Yeah, we can't wait. Thanks, guys.
So,
cheers, Vicky.
Vicky, thank you very much. And I'm being surrounded by a Man United fan and a Liverpool supporter. So, greetings to Leeds and marching on together. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Oh, look at him! Look at him!
Goodbye there, Vicky.
Bye.
He's gonna say something. I can just hear the chant in my ear as well.
Careful there. So now, usually we do like two viewer questions at a time, but what we're going to do now is I've got a little something for one lucky one of our viewers here that can actually win a little something I was going to talk to you guys about. I think, obviously Joe Cullen is known as the master of dart throw impersonations, and I've got something prepared here, and we've got 3 impersonations of Joe, and we're going to pick someone from our viewers here, and if they get, let's say, 2 out of 3, should we make sure that they get like an autograph from the 2 of you? Can we do that?
Yeah.
No.
I think they need to get 3 out of 3 because you don't want to give it up for the 2 out of 3. Come on.
Okay, we got high standards. You see, Devon Petersen said that. I wanted to give it to you for 2. Devon Petersen said 3. So
listen, Joe's good at the impersonations. If you don't get it, you're not a dart fan, and you don't deserve the signature.
Brutal, absolute brutal.
He's got a point, though. He's got a point. So let's see. All the hands that are up now, be ready. So you have to look at Joe's impersonations. Yes, and we're gonna go for who are we going for? Leon. We're going to go for Leon. Leon is going to join us, and then I'm going to share.
The pressure is on you, Leon.
Then I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to have a look at Joe doing what Joe does. Hi there, Leon. Leon, where are you joining us from tonight?
Hi, I'm in near Stuttgart, Germany.
Near Stuttgart. Okay, yes. And you are an expert on dart players' throws, and you can get 3 out of 3 and win 2 autographs from Joe and Devon.
Yeah, I hope so. A little bit, yeah.
we hope so as well. Let me have a look here. Let me get this ready. Now I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and then we're going to have a look at the one and only Joe Cullen. Now,
Look at
where
him.
are we? Where are we?
Look at him.
Here we are. Now, let's give it a bash. I'm going to stop the video after the first impression, and then Leon, you will tell us what you think, which player it was. Look at the arm movement as well. Everything's there, everything. So, Leon, what do you think? Which player was that?
I think that was Simon Whitlock.
Yeah.
Well done, Leon.
Spot on, spot
Well
on.
done, well done.
And
That's
let's
one
go,
out of one.
1 out of 1. So let's go for the next one here. These eyebrows can only mean one thing. Leon, tell us, who was that?
That was easy, the Power Taylor.
You can feel the power.
It's actually
Easy.
Matt Padgett.
He's got the same throw as well.
Yeah,
Oh, yes, that's the one we had on the Euro Tour as well. He got it. He got it. But I think he watched your videos, Joe, and then he, So now 2 out of 2 for Leon. Leon, you are one correct answer
Drum
away.
roll, please.
One correct answer away from autographs from Joe Cullen and Devon Petersen. Let's go for the last one.
Ooh.
So that was
Wow.
that.
I don't know, but I think that was Andy Hamilton.
He got it. He got it. It was indeed Andy Hamilton. Although Joe wasn't licking his fingers in a weird manner before throwing, that was Andy Hamilton. 3 out of 3 for Leon. Leon, well done.
One though, that's a tough one because if you're a new player, if you're a new supporter, you would have not seen Andy Hamilton on stage yet. So.
And we had a couple of older
Well
ones
done.
in there. We had Co Stomper in the same video, and we had Kevin Painter. The friendly look of Kevin Painter while he throws a dart. Like this. So Leon, congratulations! You won autographs of Joe Cullen and Devon Petersen. I think what we're going to do is, we've got you in the list of participants anyway. But if you could write us a mail to mail@pdc-europe.tv that you're the guy, and we'll make sure it goes to the right person anyway, because we're going to check with the list of people that are in here. Then we're going to send you the 2 autographs of Devon and Joe.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Congratulations, my man.
Thanks, Leon. Well done.
Well
Thank
done,
you.
Leon. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and congratulations once again. So Leon did that perfectly, just like Devon Petersen wanted it. 3 out of 3. That's the way we want to see it. And we've got a couple of minutes left. And so let's go for another question from our viewers. There's nothing to win, but there's certainly something to ask. Do we have another lady? I don't think so. The ladies are being shy today. So we are going for Fabian. And we'll hear what Fabian has to ask. Does Fabian have a microphone?
Doesn't
doesn't look like it.
He's just here for the show.
Maybe, but he had his hands up, so that's a bit. Well, Fabian, that's a bit unlucky. Sorry about that. Oh no! Oh, he's there now. Is he?
Fabian? Mic check 1 2.
Fabian, can you hear us, or can you say something?
Fabian.
No, probably not. That's a shame. So shame for Fabian, but that opens the door for Ellen. Ellen with an E. That could be a lady. Let's try because we need some.
You mean Ellen?
Yeah, it's an unfortunate name, man. If it's not a lady.
Hello, can you hear me? I'm the son. No, I'm the son of Ellen.
Okay.
You're the son of Ellen.
Yes. Ellen is my mother.
All right. What's your name? My man?
Ole.
Ole. Hello there, Ole. Ole, where are you watching from? Germany, I reckon. But where in Germany?
From Germany, from Münster.
Münster, beautiful Münster.
Oh,
If you've not been, go there. Beautiful place. I mean, when we're allowed to travel again, that is, I nearly forgot.
Fingers crossed, 2023.
Oh, 2023. So, Ole, your question for our stars of the evening.
I want to know what are the favorite tournaments of each player, of Devon and of Cullen.
I'll go first. So if you're talking major events, I've always wanted to play at the Match Play. It's just an iconic venue. I've played at the Alexander Palace and all the others, but not in the iconic venues. So my experience is slightly limited there. So I'll have to say the Alexander Palace when it's packed. It's always been fantastic. And then something that we get quite often is the Euro Tour, and playing in front of the German crowd is fantastic. So definitely some of the Euro Tours for me. The most favorite one was Dusseldorf, and I think it was Hamburg as well. Yeah, because I played the World Cup in Hamburg, and that was fantastic. So yeah, I think it's Hamburg and Alexander Palace.
Okay.
Yeah, similar for me. I like the Winter Gardens, Blackpool. There's something about the venue, like even when you go in there, regardless of the darts, there's just something about the actual place. Really special place to play darts. And I like Sindelfingen as well. I've got good memories from Sindelfingen, and I think it's one of the best arenas that we play on the European Tour.
And it's got a nice little kebab palace around the corner from the hotel,
and
a chicken rotisserie opposite, and you've got a McDonald's. So yeah, there's a whole host of things to do.
Alice.
Okay,
Alice.
thank you.
Ole, vielen Dank. Thank you very much for your question. Thanks that you joined us, and regards to Mum.
Yes. Give your mum my love.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
So, and when we check our watches and clocks, it tells us that it's 9 in Germany and 8 in the UK, which means that the hour of the Not So Late Night Dart Show is already up.
Wow,
and,
it went so quick.
Yes. Maybe we're gonna go. Maybe we're gonna have a 2-hour special with Joe Cullen and Devon Petersen again at some
Let's
point.
have you should have
somebody just shouted me from upstairs.
Oh dear! Watch out for
really
the cats.
Really great. Really
so guys,
great. And thanks for having us.
I have to thank you. Thank you very much for agreeing to this. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. To our stars, Devon Petersen and Joe Cullen. Obviously, thank you very much to each and every one of you that joined us for the 3rd episode of the Not So Late Night Dart Show. Watch out on the PDC Europe social media channels for episode 4 in 2 weeks' time. We're going to let you know when, and we're going to let you know who is going to be the guest. So watch out for our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter channels. Thanks a lot that you've been here tonight. Thanks a lot once again to Joe Cullen and Devon Petersen. Take care, everyone. Stay healthy. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you, Dev.